I would normally have guests on, and I've decided that this year, perhaps once a month or once every other month, I will talk to you so you can get to know more about me and what I do. And yeah, so this is my first one of 2021. I did another one around Christmas. And I'm really kind of quite hyped up because I've come off a sales kickoff presentation that I did with a colleague of mine, Bev Hancock. And I wanted to kind of like share some of the things that came out of the kickoff meeting and share what I've shared. And hopefully it's going to be useful to you too. So for a lot of sales leaders and sales team coming off the back of 2020, which has been quite a challenging year. I mean, let's not forget, for some sales team, they've hit record sales, but for a lot, it's been a real struggle. Not only having to adapt to the virtual world, and certainly the team that I've just been working with, they were talking about how customers, and this was based in South Africa, a sales team, and it was 87, I think I got on Zoom, we got on Zoom. So yeah, they were talking about the challenges of maintaining the relationship. Now you can't just get in the car and go and see your customers. So yeah, it's having to kind of maintain that kind of relationship in the virtual world and how you do that. So we were talking a lot about that. But also some of the changes that have only been accelerated by COVID, changes like omni-channel selling, tech-enabled selling, inside sales, the growth of that, and of course e-commerce. This is how a lot of your clients will get access to their products and services. So a lot has happened in a year, and it's really about kicking off the year with a new mindset, a mindset of what I call partnership. And when you're thinking as a supplier, as a salesperson, there's this distance. And what I talk a lot about in Scale Your Sales, the framework, when I'm training and talking to sales leaders and sales teams, is about the partnership mindset. If you have a partner, it's completely different. You're thinking about how you can help them and support them. And I think that's what you need to get in your mind, the partnership mentality of working with people that may be external to your supply company, but actually they're essential. They're the ones that put food on the table, so to speak. So thinking of them more as partners. So we talked a lot about that in this sales kickoff meeting, but also we kind of looked at some of the things, what's changed. And the fact is, as modern salespeople, you are active listeners. So often we go into sales situations where we're doing all of the talking and very little of the listening. And when you change the focus to being curious, to really asking relevant questions and not using that as a mechanism to actually pitch what you want, but actually to ask questions on top of questions. And you have to actively listen, because you don't know what the next question is going to be until you've heard what they've had to say. And then, moving yourself more to be a trusted advisor, so that you become more of a coach to the customer. So we talked a lot about that, and that's all part of Scale Your Sales framework. Moving you from, the seller to the partner, moving you more through to being a consultative, trusted sales consultant. So selling is all about the experience. We buy on emotion and we justify on logic. if your customer, your buyer, doesn't feel you care, doesn't feel like you've got skin in the game, then they don't care. They don't feel obligated. There's no real trust. And that's the thing, especially now after 2020, that we really have to lead with. And so I was talking about to these salespeople that actually, if it's email, if it's on the phone, you should lead with, how are you doing? What can I do for you? And then don't pitch at all. Don't pitch, don't talk about your product. Just talk to one another on a human to human level. Really create that emotion and that experience that you are a partner and not just a supplier. So you're moving selling away from being a transaction and more to being an experience. And that's exactly what it is. So the Scale Your Sales frameworks helps you to really get in touch with who are your most valued customers, not only now, but also those in the future, and also understand what are their most prominent and pressing needs. So let me take you through the framework briefly. So it's made up of 3 elements: retention, productivity, and attraction. So retention is about retaining your existing customers. And the reason for that is that you accelerate your growth through your existing customers. The probability of selling to an existing customer or even a former client is 60 to 70%. But the probability of selling to a new prospect is between 5 and 20%. So, not being focused on your greatest gains and the most significant profit centers going forward with all of the challenges is really frittering away valuable resources. And the most valuable resource is time. So this a strategy of retention and all of the strategies we use to make sure that you retain your clients is exponentially increasing your sales. But you have to really understand, your customer and value the relationship and look at the strength and the breadth of the relationship. So on this kickoff call, I went through the tool that I used and shared that with them as how they can actually value the relationship, looking at the key people within the organization that they work with and what to work with and what's their level of importance to the decision and also what's their relationship. So, if you'd like to book us for a kickoff meeting, I'm quite happy to go through that in more detail with you. But the other element is productivity. So what we mean by productivity, this is almost like the Pareto's principle, 80-20 rule, where 20% of your most valued customers provide you with 80% of your revenue. But in Scale Your Sales productivity framework, we don't just look at who are your most valued customers now, but we look at who are going to be the ones in the future, because that will change. And so it's identifying and putting a strategy together to nurture not only the ones now, but the ones in the future. This really makes sure that you future-proof your sales revenue. You're not just focused on the here and now, you're looking at the relationships going forward and how you're going to engage them. Now, talking about engage, the third element of Scale Your Sales framework is attraction. And this is looking at how to engage, educate, and elevate the relationship into partnerships. This is the partnership mentality. And this is, Gallup's research said that sales strategy based on price and product will always lose. What wins is relationship, but it's not just relationship on its own. You have to evidence more now than ever after 2020, evidence the return on investment to the customer that's unique to that customer. So if you do not understand what are their pressing needs, you can't evidence it. So that's why in Scale Your Sales framework, retention, productivity, attraction, then it goes back to retention, productivity, and attraction, and it keeps going around like that. So attraction helps you to ensure that the value of your relationship continues to increase. so that you move them from a transactional more to a elevated partnership, where there is a high level of trust. So that's the Scale Your Sales framework that I talk to a lot of clients about. And, this is really about experience sales. As I say, sales is all about emotion. And Maya Angelou, the great poet and wordsmith, said that people do not care what you say or even what you pitch. They care about how you make them feel. That's the thing that they remember, how you make them feel. So, I also went through another one of our strategies in the Scale Your Sales framework, and that is becoming a trusted solutions advisor. But this is all around co-creating the solution and not just selling the next product or service that you have. So there was really a lot that we covered on this kickoff meeting, but I really wanted to share with you and talk you through the kind of things that I often get involved in. This is why I'm really keen on the Scale Your Sales podcast, because I get to talk to lots of fantastic other experts in their field, trainers, consultants, authors, people that have real thought leadership to help them to share their knowledge with you. And it really also adds to my knowledge as well. That's why I absolutely love having these conversations with other experts. But, people, I've had lots of messages saying, well, but we don't know about you, the questions you ask, so I really did want to make sure that I talked more about what I do. And so when I came off this call with this client, I was so fired up and wanted to share some of the things that I went through. So, 5 steps to becoming a trusted advisor, talking about, what's changed in the industry and giving them some real insights as to how they can adapt, because you either adapt or you die, to this virtual world. And some of the tools, lots of the tools that we use in the Scale Your Sales framework in order to retain and grow your most valued customers, the top 20, giving them the experience that they want, and the tools to engage, educate, and elevate into that real mindset of partnership. So hopefully that has been useful to you. 1, to get to know me. 2, to understand more about Scale Your Sales framework. And 3, to kind of talk through some of the strategies that I use with my companies. I would love to hear more from you. I'd love you to rate this podcast and give us your views and comments. I love hearing from the Scale Your Sales audience, so please make sure that you do rate us on Apple's iTunes. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you. What I've got coming up, we've got Larry Long that's just been published, and next up we've got George Bronten coming up. So please make sure that you subscribe and stay tuned to Scale Your Sales podcast. Rate us. Love to hear your comments. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.